Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Monday, December 8th, 2025, Trading Trends ETF edition. A very quiet day, about half average daily volume in terms of the SPYs. We traded about 40 million on an average 80 million day, but some things did move around. I had, of course, the big day this week is Wednesday afternoon with the Fed meeting. They're going to cut 25 bips pretty much baked in here. A couple more went sideways. Let's take a look. It was very quiet, but like I said, there were some moves. Let's take a look. So Nat Gas, a big give back of last week with the frozen pipes, which was also a thing this morning here on the East Coast. Frigid, a big give back of Nat Gas down 8%. We'll take a look at the chart. We said this one was getting a little bit toppy, and we'll check out the charts. You'll see what I mean. And India and medical devices, both down about 1 3/4% there. So a bad day for India and medical devices. On, like I said, lower, below average volume. Like I said, 40 million instead of the typical 80, but new all-time highs for the SOXX, which is the Philly Semiconductors. By the way, go Birds, beat the Chargers tonight. And new all-time lows for VXX. So still bullish developments that happened today, and a close right at the daily VWAP. You'll see what I mean in a second. If you have a ticker or something, put it in, and we'll look at it as we get ahead. What I think is going to be new all-time highs this Tuesday, Wednesday, imminent, probably Wednesday, and then there's a big, rug pull. I'll show you in a second. But let's go to the dashboard panel first. Here we go. All right, so NVIDIA up 1.7%, getting closer to that 190 nice risk-on level that we had going into their earnings, a pretty important level for me that I've been watching. Tesla was kind of a big source of the weakness today in terms of the single stock Mag 7 land, down 3%, pulled down consumer discretionary. Retail actually did okay. Amazon somewhat bucked the trend in terms of XLY. I believe Amazon was down, where is it here? Yeah, down 1.1. Tesla really was pretty weak today, down 3 1/3, but still at $439. Broadcom, new all-time highs for that puppy, up 2.8%, pushed the SOXX to new all-time highs. As you can tell, NVIDIA is not there. Broadcom did it. What a beast today. Google, can't believe it, down 2.5%. Microsoft up 1.6 on a day like today. AMD up 1.4. We already talked about Amazon. Micron up 4. I got long that, like I said, on Friday. It looked like it was lagging, and a beautiful day in this tape. The stock looks perfect many times, so you got to give it respect. And Intel down 2.7%. Intraday action. So here we go on the opening bell. They said, no, thank you. Let me sell it. This black line is a 200 bar moving average, each one constituting 30 minutes. We started to find a little bit of that support right here at the East Coast close, but it was really risk off in the morning. You saw Bitcoin sliding again under 90K, etc. We touched VWAP here at the 12:30, both at the 12:30 and 1 o'clock hour. At the time it was 684 quarter, and boom, they sold it down to the lows again right around 1:32 p.m., right at that 681 half mark. And then look at that. A lot of people fell asleep. And then at 3:30, they said, no, you know what? I got to get these orders to get long before the end of the day. And we closed at VWAP 683.50 right there on the button. Like I said, below average day in terms of volume. As I zoom out, things look, you'll see what I mean when I go through some of the sectors and some of the big movers today. But for me, SPY still looks very good. I love seeing the print of all-time lows for VXX and all-time highs for SOXX. That to me just screams risk on, and it's not done yet. This looks to me like it's going to 695. Again, the prior all-time high is 690. We've been talking about this since Thanksgiving week. My estimate has not changed. It's still 695 essentially for, I think they're going to do it, at some point. I don't think it'll be tomorrow. I think we have obviously need, that's 12 points away or about 2%. I think you might see a nice day. More to come. I think you might see a nice day going Tuesday into the, I know it's expected 25 bips, but I just think there's more upside to go here in the chart. There's the only thing that give me a little bit of warning signs. I'll see if we look at it is ARK and Bitcoin. Some of those areas of the market look like they have run their rallies and have topped. So let's give me a little bit conflicting view in terms of, is this risk off? And look at the range here as well. This has been a brick wall since the all-time highs was struck on October 29th at 690. So, triple tops isn't really a thing. We usually pierce through, and I'm still expecting, as I said, 695 sometime this week. My date was Wednesday. We obviously have a massive catalyst with Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve cutting 25. But that's what I see, 2% more upside. Buyers, to me, still have more control than sellers. And they have, as indicated here from the RSI, right after we had that breakaway above on the 25th, really right is when this started. when we say get long, and I have my notes on the 25th with a 695 target. VWAP today was 672. So that was what we said there, and nothing's changed yet. Let's take a look at some of the movers today. Let's get into it, and maybe there's some setups for us. And I will be tactically selling a bunch of longs on Wednesday, to be frank, and then rolling over, getting ready for a 2-week correction. And then I do think we get very close to that 7,000 S&P, literally right around New Year's Eve. I think Santa shows up on time. All right, let's go to the first one we alluded to in the opening of the video. Nat Gas. Wow, look at this. Amazing. Above the 200 moving average for literally a moment in time, one day, today. And then it couldn't have it. Down 8% today, similar to the action it had in mid-June. The 200-day is still sliding. You didn't get above 70 RSI. The actual level is 1574 for the UNG. Whoops. Okay. Alrighty. Undertaker came on my screen. Blackout. Okay. So I do not want to engage with this one soon. This might have, I'm surprised it got Dikembe so hard. Like I said, the weather was, still frigid here, but it's baked in. That to me looks like it pretty much rang a bell at the top here. Look at that rejection. Someone literally on Friday paid $17 for this and now down 15. I think this is going to start its ascension. It may have one more day to try to get to that 1570 level. I don't think so, though. And I do think this starts to move towards just about 14.5. This is going to be an interesting trade because I think it'll slip to about 14.5 over the next 2 weeks. I don't think it'll be in vogue, and possibly 1375. I don't think that low, though. But I do think this 50 to 45 RSI will hold, and it's going to try to frame a recovery. This had much more bullish days than bearish since October the 30th. I kind of like this breakout above 1390, and that's the level I see this consolidating to over the next 2 weeks. So if you caught this run, congratulations. Be careful. We had kind of talked about this on the Friday video. Could the exact same playbook be happening? Usually history does not repeat, but it often rhymes. It's possible here. Like I said, this December was right here at this tape. And you see that again, almost the exact same candle too, December 12th, a year ago. But then 2-3 weeks later, we started going towards new highs into March. Possible, more to come. I don't want to be in this space specifically for the next 2 weeks, though. And then I do. All right, let's go to India. Down 1.7% today. India has not been getting a ton of love lately. It's been trying to carve out this recovery. But again, this peaked back there you go. Back to a 1-year view. This peaked in June of this year at $56. And here we are against to a rising 200-day moving average at 1.6%. And we're actually right there on the button. 53.09 is the 200-day. We closed below it by a cent. Sentiment in India is not super wonderful. It's had a bad time, though. I kind of like the support here. I respect the rising 200-day in a global bull market. I like the floor of $53. This is going to be continuing to be a frustrating trade because overall it's going to live in this large rectangle that it's been trying to carve out for the past 6 months with a ceiling of 56 and a floor of 52, but really actually is closer to 53. So essentially range bound. Once makes me want to sell strangles, but it's a low ATR average true range stock, so you're not going to get paid for the risk. But here, tactically, this is going to probably head to $54 in the next 2 weeks. La-di-da, not a massive move there, about 2%. Better opportunities elsewhere. And then over time, I think it can etch its way to 55, but it'll still live inside of those 52-week highs from inside of 56. So they did not like this area today. And then the next one they hammered down 1.9% is medical devices. This very interesting chart peaked in February of this year, $65. The 200-day had just started to slide. There's a lot of things going on in healthcare. Specifically, biotechs are 52-week highs every single day, absolutely ripping. Medical devices led by Medtronic and other companies, a little bit of a different flavor. The 200, as I said, has just started to go south as of the past month. We're at a 48 RSI. I do not like it, even with the rate cut coming on Tuesday. This looks like it's got not nasty, but this looks wayward here. And today wasn't even really the start of it. This kind of started on the day before Thanksgiving, really, that Wednesday when they rejected it at 64.60, got to Dikembe, and the slinky slow motion headed lower. I think this heads to $61 right at that 200-day, similar to what we just saw on the previous chart, a tap of that lower 200-day like India. Similar, maybe the algos are picking this up in terms of a reversal on that gas, and then Indian medical devices. But I think this tags 61 even. And then if you want to be, having allocation in not an amazing area, a pretty frustrating one, IHI could be the one for you. All right. Let us get into the top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. So that is today plus the previous 4 days. And we're going to discuss crypto. Crypto is 2 of the 3 leaders. You see Ethereum truly in purgatory here. Really deep SHIB since November the 17th. What I mean by that is it's hovering with its 200-day moving average. That figure is 23.24. We closed above it by about 1.5% today. A big day, a nice one for Ethereum, up almost 4%. The only thing is here, so we had a note here on the 24th, similar to what we said with SPY, and we said get long these markets. The bearish distribution phase is now ending. Get long some of the more risk on things. That's why I bought ARK and Ethereum, honestly, and all these things. So this was $21 under a rising 200-day moving average. Give a dog a bone. Respect that. And here is where we pretty much, it's more of an aggressive cycle because of a high volatile asset like Ethereum. But beginning roughly around the 24th, we kind of have that ending pretty much around tomorrow. It's right around this week. And that was the rally to me, 21 to about 24, right to its 20-day moving average, and they use it to sell into strength. Another way to visualize that is it could not even get scraped at 50 RSI, which it hasn't been able to do since October the 9th, just a month, 6 weeks removed from its 52-week high, all-time high, actually, and honestly, a week removed from basically touching it, right? $35, $36. Who's splitting hairs here? Probably me. So yeah, I don't like this space. It might have another thrust, try to get above, to 24 even. But this doesn't look like an amazing, even with the rate cuts coming. Again, a lot of this is priced in. I don't like this chart. Ethereum does not look great for the next 2 weeks. This looks like it's headed to about $20, which would be ugly for the crypto complex. We'll look at Bitcoin in a second, but chart doesn't look bueno. Hate to tell you, but it looks like it's going to 20 even, which would be an almost $4 reduction or 20% decline, almost up to 20% decline of Ethereum in the next 2 weeks. So not bueno there. There has definitely been a differentiation and a dispersion of Mag 7, mega cap tech stocks, and crypto. And crypto is clearly and Ethereum is peaked in August, Bitcoin in October. So let's see if in a second if Bitcoin has a different flavor. But Ethereum, give it credit, 14% in the past 5 days, or an average of 3% almost a day. Today was up 4%. Lets me know it's not done yet. It may. I don't think so, because that's way too juicy. Try to touch the 50-day. That's up there at 26. Maybe there's absolute crazy animal spirits happening during JPOW, but I don't think it's going to happen. 24 handle might be the best you see. And if you look at it visually here, it had such a swift fall. Really, the next area, honestly, is 20, 25, 26, and markets are thin. It could rise up there, but we'll see. I think it's the Kembe by 50 RSI. I do not like crypto. It looks like for the next 2 weeks. Let's get to the next one. Uranium up 8% over the past 5 days. 2-day down 35 bips. This was your second best trade of the past week. This looks like, to me, it peaked as well, right around here at 50. You can see my cursor. Again, this rally started all the way here. I'm not going to take that absolute bottom tick and be in cute, because that's not really capturable. 41.5, this rally began all the way to a monster rip of $49. Beautiful 2-week cycle. You can put a short-term Fibonacci or a short-term Elliott wave here, as well as a short-term fib there. And I think it looks like it is done for here. Uranium a star on the week. I think this absolutely doesn't crap out over the next 2 weeks, but I do think it looks like it's headed to about $43. So no break in trend, rising 200-day, basically hover around the 50 RSI, give or take 4, right? Drop to 48, maybe tops 52 where it is here, and still hold basically all trends, but lower high in place for uranium, what it looks like to me. This has been one of the biggest stars from year over year, as well as from the April lows where it touched $20. So that's uranium. So not, trying to see some differing things here now. Of course, let's get to IBIT. And also uranium, look at the difference in the candles. Ethereum may not be done. Like we said, it's up 4% today. Uranium, you saw the candle on Friday, and then you saw it today. So it was down 2.5% then. Today, down about 25 bips. I think that completed that run for this portion. All right, and then IBIT. Bitcoin up 6% over the past 5 days, on an average of 1% a day. Today, doing just about that, up 1 2/3. This thing has been in hell since election day, November 4th. We're looking at IBIT since it broke under $59. And oh man, this thing has not been over 50 RSI since October 13th, the week it hit all-time highs. It truly hit it. IBIT hit 72, and everyone said, nope, I'm going to put my stop in at 66.5, and I'll see you later. And that basically looks like what happened, as if all the investors spoke with one another. But I think this was the run as well. This looks like the move from 49 all the way to about 53. Pretty paltry, I know, pathetic, unfortunate. I was hoping for more. This may have, again, it was up 1.5% today. I don't think it's done like Ethereum. I think this tries to make a move towards 53 into the Fed and everything. I don't think it's quite done. I think that's pretty pathetic, like I said, if that's all it is. But it's running into a lot of moving averages and middle levels of Bollinger Bands here. It's going to be an important level. 53, it's not been able to do. I think maybe JPAL's able to get it there on a 25 basis point cut, and just easing global liquidity, and they buy some. But again, ultimate overhead here, 58.5. That's going to take quite a while. So first things first, Bitcoin, great week, but really a nasty 2 months. Okay, let's look at the top 3 losers of the past 5 days. We'll go through these 3, and then we'll get out of here. Your biggest loser is your biggest winner year over year. Always like to see that happen. It's telling you there's something on sale. It's GDX, the GOAT of 2025. It peaked in October, same week as Bitcoin, at $85. This thing has returned to its winning ways. Unlike a Bitcoin, this thing has been above 48 RSI since election day. So quite the inverse picture of Bitcoin. Talk about relative strength, which of course you're supposed to lean into as a trader here. That being said, I love the gold miners. I tell you when they're looking great and setting up, and when they're not. And this to me, right here. Let me see here. This is going to, when the beta pull is happening like I'm expecting this week, with all-time lows in VXX and all-time highs in SOXX, is not typically, to me, the time I want to buy a GDX. So for here, you see the Rising 200 at 58.5. Looks absolutely stupendous. We're trading 79. Today, it was down 2.3%. We're talking about it right here in this segment because it had the worst week of any ETF, down 3.5%, but less than 1% a day. Today, they purged it quite a bit, down 2.3. I think this has a nasty 2 weeks. I think they sell this possibly as low as 71. I'm not so sure that happened. That was my absolute floor, although the real floor will go back to the November lows of 68. I think this has a bad 2 weeks. I think south of 78 is for sure. This looks like it peaked near term a week ago at 84, and it's not done. This looks like it wants to go, to me, about 2-ish weeks in the penalty box to about $74 to $72. And then I think it's going to be a screaming buy as the durable trend therein has not changed. This is going to be heading back to about $85 in a couple of weeks. So that's the setup. I'm watching it for now. Probably could also sell, like the 84 call, something like that, but not really in the mood for selling calls in all-time high environment in the equities space. All right, number 2 loser, and this is due to the rising yields. We said the market sometimes has a perverse way of trading into events, and yields have risen in anticipation of course, the 25 bip cut on Wednesday afternoon. What gives, right? Shouldn't it be the opposite? So utilities are a victim of that total yields play. This had a nasty fall off here just in the past week, and that's why we're talking about it. Down 3% over the past 5 days. Ugly. Technically speaking, I would think that this 43 level would have held, especially for a lower vol asset like this. I'm surprised they sank it as much today. This whole candle today was kind of surprising. Lets me know it's kind of being magnetized to its 200-day, possibly at 41.75, which coincides with those September lows. I think Powell will put the bleeding, I think, to a stop on this, and I don't think it'll go far lower than 43. Utilities has been a fire spot, overbought, one of the best sectors. I think you'll get an invitation to do this week with a ideally 42 handle on its way to 45.5. All right. And then lastly, the third worst week, it was GDX, utilities, and then volatility, which printed a new all-time low today. Mr. Market saying, we don't care about your puts. They are worthless. Kind of like Block and Saquon, although I know the series not been the same because he ran 2 million yards last year. Here's the VIX. So again, new all-time low. I don't know if you can see that denoted right here by that little caret. All-time low. In VXX, it tagged 3063. We've been saying you got to, let me look at it because I inversely put that note in when we said SPY, buy it on November 24th. This was at $35, and I said you have a good chance of seeing a 29 handle. So let me just put that here, November 24th, right there. So it peaked at the ultimate scare there was the week before Thanksgiving, exactly the Thursday before. We touched 40.5. It was a heck of a rally from 32 all the way to 40. Very scary. The bull market over, blah, blah, blah. And then totally rolled over, and the bears take control of VXX, bulls of the market around November 24th. You see it break under 50 RSI, and it's like the dam broke, and there's no levies here, and this thing was crashing. I think this possibly still gets your 29 handle during the Jerome Powell speech. I think you have potential for a big down day. If he, of course, talks about unemployment and says AI is going to, possibly take unemployment to 20% in 2 years and talks about basic income, maybe the market has to grapple with that in real time, and we'll see. Not what I'm banking on, literally. Top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you've been gobbling up Ethereum, Uranium, and IBIT, congratulations. Those are the 3 best trades in all the land. We will be back Wednesday. I did say before I would do a 1 o'clock video. It's going to be silent as hell going into the Fed. So we'll see if we can do a Wednesday, obviously, after all the dust has settled. It's going to be exciting. I'm foreshadowing all-time highs. Let's see if I'm right. Peace. Talk to you then.